Welcome back at the starting grid here at Autodrom Most, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for another big one. It is the second GT sprint here in Most in the ESETCup Series 2024. You are joining us right before the start on the grid, of course. Cars right behind me, already lined up on the grid on pole position. On the other side of the grid, it is Petr Fulin in his new Audi R8 GT3. He scored a pole position earlier on today in the qualifying. Right behind me, it's the leading GTC car prepared by Michanek Motorsports team with Josef Záruba behind the steering wheel. And I think we have an important question. Pepo, Sunday afternoon, the sun is out, you are the proud member of the ESETCup. Are you going to drive like an old man today?
Yeah, I have kid, I have wife, so I think it's like at least 1 second slower. So my best is behind me, so I will do the best I have, but it's the rest of the old guys. So.
Or is it going to be the visor down, forget it, I'm going to kill them all?
I promised to Jiri that I will drive with my brain,
okay.
So I can't tell you right now.
Good, we are looking forward to that, enjoy it. And if we move actually to the second row of the grid, it is Aditis Racing's brand new Porsche 911, but this time it is the former Eastern European TCR champion Bartosz Groszek at the wheel of the car. Whoop. Sit easy. Bartosz, hi. It's been a while since we talked on the starting grid. Now, as I said, nice Sunday drive, but you are driving a nice car, so how much are you going to enjoy it?
I enjoyed it all the weekend, and the old plan for this weekend was to gain the knowledge about the car and see how it goes in the race. We'll see.
Okay, best of luck, have fun, and you have fun as well, because the race is starting in just a couple of minutes. We are opening the 2023 season here in Germany. First of the 6 calendar events that are ready for us this year.
Oh, there's contact between Joachim Garage and Libor Milotan.
There is the race leader, Filip Salaguarda.
They are now going to be side by side across the line, but Galash is prevailing. Joachim Galash scores another victory.
His teammate does a slight touch in the first corner.
What a move that was. And he's third, and there's a contact. Luckily, everybody else has managed to avoid that car. This is going to be a photo finish between the two Lambos. Who's first? It must be Denis Vashek. Unbelievable. This is a big, big crash, massive crash. Cars on the formation lap, the second GT sprint of the weekend is upon us. 4,212 meters, that is the length of the circuit here in Most. And it is Petr Fulín starting the race from pole position. Alongside him, Josef Záruba. It is going to be a rolling start procedure as usual. Third place, Hermann Speck in his Porsche 911. It's actually the car number 611, the yellow Porsche that you have there in the middle of your shot. Bartosz Groszek with the number 38 Porsche 911 prepared by Aditis Racing Team. Hubert Darmetko, P5, and alongside him on row number 3, Petr Brecka in his Porsche. We just had a quick chat in the pit lane earlier on because Petr has done the Renault Twingo Cup race as well, and he said, yeah, that was a crazy experience in the wet, and he managed to score a top 10 result on debut, so enjoyed himself very much. Now it is a car with way more horsepower and of course way more grip, so it's a car that, even by his own words, is actually going like a train on the rails. Row number 4, Petr Koukola from Jeník Motorsport, and alongside Michael Oliver. Row 5, Martin Hudec and Andrew Kunica. Bob Bow in 11th from Coach Mackenzie, the brother of, Coach Mackenzie. Gabor Tim in P13 in his Lotus, P14 Antonín Herbeck in his Pagani Zonda. Pavel Bouška and Sophie Hoffman sharing row number 8. Behind them, Rudolf Beňo, who had a radiator problem yesterday in the endurance, alongside Ronald Andráček, Alex Tlustý, Antal Žigo, Ivan Hřeňák, Pavel Sovička, Alexander Kosohov and Ivan Vlachkov completing this 24-strong field that is now making its way back to the start and finish straight. And we are waiting for that green light to illuminate. And we are racing towards the first chicane. Hard fight between the leading two cars. Josef Záruba cutting across the track. Wasn't the best tactic yesterday, but around the outside goes Petr Brecka. Fantastic move by the car number 85, and into third he goes. What a move in that Porsche, as I just mentioned, like a train on rails, and what a move that was round the outside. We've got another view from the BMW M6 GT3. That should be Antal Žigo. In the Trevor Racing's car, with Josef Záruba up into the race lead from Petr Fulín. But Petr Fulín has already regained that first position back in his Audi R8. And there he goes, the local driver knows Autodrom Most really well. Exactly this circuit, 4.2 kilometers with 21 corners. And I believe that Petr knows the secret to every single one of them. This is his favorite track that he knows, like, what do they say, back of his hands. And he's done so much racing with touring cars here, but this is his first racing weekend at the wheel of a GT3 car here in Most. He's already done a race with ARC Bratislava in Abu Dhabi a couple of months back, and has been testing his newly acquired Audi R8, enjoying himself very much. We also managed to chat a little bit this morning, happy after qualifying. That was still in the wet. But as he says, it's a great car with great sound from the naturally aspirated engine. Josef Záruba leading the Cup category, the GTC class, but Petr Brecka up to third. What a start by the GT Sports Technologies driver, who now finds himself ahead of the DB Motorsports Porsche, driven by Hermann Speck. That's the yellow Porsche, number 611. Behind them, another Porsche, but that is the Cup version. It's the 992 Cup, driven by Bartosz Groszek Similar machinery behind him, PTT Racing's Hubert Darmetko, car number 7, and it is already Hermann Speck regaining third as he overtakes Petr Brecka under the gantry. And it is now Bartosz Groszek who will want to try an overtake in the team's Porsche. He's been helping to develop the car for the team boss and team owner Radim Adamek, who's been enjoying himself in that car, having made the swap from touring cars as well. And along the pit straight we go, slipstreaming battle. Bartosz Groszek trying to have a tiny look down the inside, of course. The last thing he would want would be to damage the car. He's here to help to develop the machine and get it up to speed, get it properly set up. So he's definitely going to enjoy himself in this race. However, I'm not expecting him to go unnecessarily aggressive. Bartosz Groszek passed his TCR championship victory, actually here a couple of years back, fighting against Petr Semerád, who is also in the paddock this weekend. Bartosz Groszek then went to the GT world himself, driving actually Cup Lamborghinis. And now he is through on Petr Brecka as well, taking 4th place off his hands. If we look further down the field, it is Orlen Janík Motorsports, Petr Kokola in 7th in his KTM GTX. There he goes in the back of the shot, behind the 3 Porsches. Michael Oliver in his 992 Cup Porsche in 8th from Bob Bow and Coach McKenzie in HP Racing's Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo. That is the top 10 at the moment in the overall standings. Andrew Kunica a little further down the field. He's now dropped to 12th behind Martin Hudec. Martin Hudec in Duck Racing's R8 Audi. Gabor Tim in 13th in the Lotus Exige V6 Cup. We've also got Seifert Motorsports R8 Audi, but that's the GT4 spec, driven by Sophie Hoffmann. Lambo Super Trofeo, Schenkis Motorsport, and Pavel Bouška in 15th currently. From Alex Lusty in his Praga R1. Antal Žigo in the M6 Beamer, prepared by Trevor Racing. In 17th from the Sin car, prepared by AKK Performance Team. Ivan Vlachkov driving that red and green car. Ronald Andracek in 19th currently and 4th in the GTX class, and then the leading GT4 car driven by Rudolf Beño, as I mentioned, had a radiator issue yesterday in the endurance race. The engine started to overheat, so to avoid any further drama and any damage to the car, decided to retire the BMW immediately. But in good mood and prepared for another sprint today, and they are leading the GT4 class from Pavel Sovička in his Blue Garage Racing's Lotus Emira, that is making its debut here in Most as well, and then BA Motorsports Ivan Hřeňák in his Porsche Cayman GT4, and I've jumped the other Seifert Motorsports R8 Audi driven by Alexander Kosohov, currently in 2nd in his class. So we've done the first 7 minutes of the race. There is the fight in the GT4s. Up front, the R8 Audi. Then it is the brand new Lotus Emira. Pavel Sovička debuting it here in Most together with heavily experienced Jiří Jupa, who's come back, put on his racing overalls, racing shoes and racing gloves, and helped the team to develop the car. Jiří Jupa, of course, having so many memories and so much experience around this track himself from way back then, for example, from the Škoda Octavia Cup. And as mentioned already yesterday, quite a lot of drivers, other drivers that we have in various categories in the ESETCup series that have been coached in the past by Jiří Jupa. For example, even this race's leader, Petr Fulín, way back then in Octavia Cup, or also Adam Kout, today's TCR race winner from a couple of moments back, or even Max Karhan driving in the Czech Formula 4. On one hand earlier on today, and on the other hand also later on today, because Formula 4 is coming back with its third race of the weekend. Later on, after this sprint, we will have the second Clio Cup race of the weekend, then the third race of Formula 4, second race of the Twingo Cup, and the third race of the Suzuki Swift Cup Europe. This is the current race leader, Petr Fulín. Although it's the same VW concern, this is no TCR Cupra. This is a different beast. Petr Koukola making a move on Hubert Armetko. Careful, careful, but they are both giving each other enough space. Good battle through the first chicane. Petr Fulín, in the meantime, has managed to build himself more than a 13-second gap. But now they've come across the line, him and Josef Záruba as well. And on the previous lap, Záruba was somewhat faster, even though it is, of course, Petr Fulín holding the fastest lap of the race so far in 1:32.1. But the previous lap was slow on 35.1. Záruba did 1:34.3 and was very close to his fastest lap so far, so still lapping pretty much on the edge with the Cup Lambo. There was a gearbox issue yesterday for Jakub Knoll, who took part in the endurance race but had to stop halfway through the race, that then got neutralized with a safety car, because the track marshals were given space to actually retrieve the stricken Mechanic Motorsports Lambo, and that bunched the entire field up. And with that, situation arose after the restart, where the Tomáš Miniberger was tagged into a spin by another Porsche and crashed into the Lamborghini Huracan prepared by ARC Bratislava team, and then crashed really heavily into the barrier on the inside of the track. A lot of damage for the car that had already taken a big hit in the first sprint yesterday. So we've lost a couple of cars already, and I'm seeing the Praga R1 being stopped right next to the track. There it is, the car number 113, Alex Lusty, running out of luck. While we have a beautiful fight, Coach McKenzie sending his HP Racing's Lamborghini down the inside on Petr Koukola, and also Hubert Darmetko, unnecessary contact. I believe that Darmetko was not really expecting Coach McKenzie to close the door on him so hard. He was probably going to give him space anyway, but there was an unnecessary contact. They all then drove past the stationary car of Alex Lusty. We are not needing a safety car just yet, and it's probably all dealt with local yellows. No, safety car. Safety car will come out. Unfortunately, the Praga R1 is going to need more attention, and this is the onboard that we're enjoying from the BMW M6 GT3 driven by Antal Žigo, who is currently in 3rd place in the GT3 class. And there is the R1 Praga that will have to be towed away. So Petr Furin is going to lose the entire gap, the entire lead that he has built up to this point. Currently it was about 11 seconds from Záruba. Hermann Speck in 3rd in the DB Motorsports Porsche 911 GT3 Gen 2. Then Bartosz Groszek in the Cup Porsche, the 992, 2nd in the GTC class behind Záruba. And Petr Brecka behind them, another GTC car. So 3rd place in the category, the GT Sports Technologies 911. Then HP Racing's Lambo with Coach McKenzie behind the steering wheel in 6th overall from Petr Koukola, Hubert Darmetko, Michael Oliver, and Duck Racing's Martin Hudec, completing the top 10 for the moment from Bob Bau, Andrew Kunica, Antal Žigo, Gabor Tim, Pavel Bouška, and the rest of the pack that are still yet to come across the line, as we are recollected behind the safety car. There's the GT4 R8 Audi and the Lotus Emira, the white and black GT4 Special. So there is the R1 Praga being towed away. That's going to solve the situation very shortly, and we will be able to go racing again. The car has been brought all the way to the inside. You can see that from the drone view. And I believe that's where the organizers... No, they are not going to leave the car there, but that's where one of the barrier openings is. You'll see that small orange spot. That's how the barriers are always marked at the opening, also for everybody to be able to find that opening more easily if you know that you're going to have to retire the car and you're still moving at least at some speed. It's always advised that you try and leave the car very close to that spot. Of course, Alex Lusty had to stop where he did because the car could not really drive any further. But still, it's not very far away from the opening, so still retired it in a good position, which should allow us to restart the race rather soon. Petr Fulín leading from Josef Záruba. Both of them are leading drivers or leading cars of their respective classes, GT3 and GTC. Petr Fulín's closest competitor in the GT3 class, Martin Hudec in another R8 Audi, but that is the older model. The one that Petr drives is now the current generation. I believe it's not exactly the latest spec, but it is the current guise that should have up to 585 brake horsepower. So, safety car in this lap. This is the car of Alex Lusty, who has had to retire his Praga, unfortunately. The safety car will come back into the pits. You could also see the onboard from the M6 BMW and, for example, see at what kind of speed the cars are traveling. Okay, the race is immediately restarted. Very soon did Petr Fulín get on power and very nearly caught up with the safety car itself that's now making its way back to the pits, but the race goes green. Petr Fulín restarting the race from the first place from Josef Záruba and Hermann Speck in third. Even under the safety car is still easily going 150, 160 kph, as you can see from the onboard. Might be surprising to some. It of course looks very slowly, but you can't go too slow, otherwise you lose all the temperature from the tires, from the brakes, and then the cars wouldn't really work. So even behind the safety car, it still has to keep a certain pace so that the cars do not come all locking up and crashing into one another right at the restart. There is the leading pair, Petr Fulín in his R8 Audi and Pepa Záruba in his GTC Lamborghini Huracan. Last year we had two junior drivers, Matěj Pavlíček and Joachim Galáš, fighting for the overall GTC crown. It was Joachim Galáš in the end who got crowned the champion. They were fighting with Denis Vasek. We did have Denis Vasek here yesterday. However, unfortunately, he had a big crash at the start of that sprint and had to retire the car from the rest of the weekend. By the way, Jakub Galáš and Matěj Pavlíček have been competing in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo this season. Scoring, for example, a top 10 finish as the support series for the 24-hour Le Mans race this season. So we have entered the final minute of the race, which means that we will still get one more lap. We are lapping in about 135, 136 region for the race leaders. Then behind them it's mostly 137s. Rather closely matched lap times, so the field isn't spreading out that much, which is great to see. This is the final lap of the second GT sprint here in Most. We are in the final lap of the race. With Petr Furin still not very much, far ahead from his nearest challenger in that he has in Josef Záruba. They are making their way around the final lap and back onto the start and finish straight. So he's had success here with touring cars, with cup cars, but he's now entered the world of Gran Turismo. It is the GT3 victory for Petr Furin on his home soil in Most. Petr Furin wins the second GT sprint, about 3 seconds from Josef Záruba, who comes home second overall, wins the GTC class. Hermann Speck in third, Bartosz Groszek in fourth in the Aditis Racing's Porsche. Coach McKenzie in his HP Racing's Lambo in P5 overall. Petr Brecka in 6th after that great start. This is your GT4 leader and winner, Rudolf Beňo, having enjoyed a great race himself. If we continue in the overall standings, it is Hubert Darmetko in 7th, Petr Koukola winning the GTX class in 8th overall, Michael Oliver in 9th from Martin Hudec in P10, from Antal Žigo, Bob Bau, Andrew Kunica, Pavel Bouška, Gabor Tim, Ivan Vlachkov, Ronald Andráček, Sophie Hoffman, Rudo Beňo, Alexander Kosohov, Pavel Sovička, Ivan Hřeňák and Alex Lusty, who unfortunately had to retire his Praga R1 for technical issues. We've got a message from the race control cars number 22, 27 and 222. They have got to go immediately to the scrutineering bay. Everybody else into Parc Fermé. Those 3 cars being the race winner, Petr Furin, second place, Josef Záruba, and also Martin Hudec in Duck Racing's Audi R8. Funny thing, actually, the racing number that has been following Petr Furin and with Petr Furin pretty much all through his career is his favorite number of 22. He even actually made a documentary film about his career last year. Well, that's when it was rolled out to basically to the public, and it was called The 22. But it is Josef Záruba and Team Mechanik Motorsport who had the number 22 here in the GT Sprint, or in the ESETCup series. So Petr Furin had to add another 2 to his racing number to actually sort of keep the nomenclature and that icon for himself. Cars are being driven back to Parc Fermé, and with that we are going to conclude the GT racing for this weekend, but we still have 4 further races coming up, and the closest one is of course the second race of the Renault Clio Cup coming in very shortly. If you visit the Parc Fermé, this has got to be one of the best car parks that you can be standing next to. Luckily, it's actually quite close to where our broadcasting van is, so I think I know what I'm going to be doing in the next 5 minutes. Yeah, and with that, you just know that we're enjoying the racing weekend here in Most. It's so great to be part of ESETCup series. We're very happy that you're with us with the live stream as well. As I mentioned, we've still got 4 more races to offer to you, so make sure that you stay with us, and we are going to be back with the next one in just a couple of minutes.